What's up, nerds? We're your hosts. I'm Jake.
I'm Chad.
This week we are sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks.
We are also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's Hot Sauce.
So this week we're going to be talking about some nerd news, upcoming stuff, things of that nature. And stuff.
We're also going to be talking about the last voyage of the Demeter, now playing in theaters. Let's get into it. This is the All Things Nerd podcast. Think.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds, to the All Things Nerd podcast, your weekly dive into all things nerd.
Oh, no.
Oh,
It
no.
happened. It happened right away.
Oh, did it freeze? Well, first off, before we get into how our weeks have been, we apologize in advance. We've been having some tech issues for our recording, so the video might be blotchy in a couple of spots every here and there, and we might vocalize that happened as well when we're confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jake, how was your week?
Week was good. My week was good. Pretty busy at work. Got some stuff done on my car. And that's about it. How about you?
My
Oh, you did? Oh. I just read your thing.
Yeah. My work week was pretty good. Kind of busy. We've had some staffing changes and someone that was out on maternity leave, so we restructured kind of our portfolios, which just means that I'll probably end up being a little bit busier, but I'm all for it because I love my job. But then on Friday, we played our final session for one of the D&D campaigns that I'm a part of, and I tried so hard, but my character died.
In the end, it didn't even matter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a couple months ago, because we kept pushing back this session because of like schedules and stuff like that, but a few months ago, I got drunk, and I'm in a group chat with the DM of this campaign is one of the players in our upcoming podcast campaign, and I taunted him for not killing off anyone in any of the campaigns, and he's like, "Okay, you're next," and he followed through, and I died. It's okay. It wasn't like a big character that I was super invested in, but I've never had a character just die. He was resurrected because I reminded everyone that, hey, we had a scroll of revivify, which brought him back to life after I didn't get to finish the battle. It was like he was dead. They finished the battle and were like, bring him back to life.
Mm.
But I failed all my death saves. It was terrible. Well, before we get into talking about some more stuff for the podcast, if our listeners like what we're doing here, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd to support this show and just the All Things Nerd umbrella. It's a great way to support the show. You can choose how you give on a monthly basis, but you get all kinds of bonuses, exclusive merch, behind the scenes. As of right now, it's going to be the umbrella for both of our podcasts, because the other one is going to be launching in the next month or two. So you get behind the scenes for that stuff too. Yeah, again, that's buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd. Now, we mentioned last week that we're working with someone to help kind of revamp our structure, help us get a better website, all that sort of thing. Jake, shout him out because we got permission now,
Uh,
so we
well,
don't have to be as vague.
the name of the company is Digitech. Is it Digitech?
I think it's
Digitech?
Digitech, but
That's
it's
okay.
not spelt like Digitech.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the
You'll see
CH,
it.
there's a K.
We'll put a link at the bottom of our thing so you could click on that and check that out. If you like the way that our website looks when it's done, it's not done yet. But when it is done and we do restart it, if you like that, I mean, you can click on that link, reach out to him. His name is Martel. And maybe he could do something for you too.
Yeah. Dude's a wizard.
Yeah.
And also, like us, he's a big old nerd, which is sweet.
We'll probably have him on here when the Ahsoka series drops. I said it right.
You did. I'm so proud of you.
And he's a big Star Wars fan, so it'd be cool to have him on, and then he can probably talk a little more in depth about his business as well.
Yeah.
As well as talk about some Star Wars stuff. So, yeah. Look out for that link and look out for our new website coming soonish.
Yeah, we don't really have a timeline on it yet, but
Yeah.
as it gets closer, we'll tell you. There's also, we've been talking about this weekly because it's a big deal, but the SAG-AFTRA, is it AFTA or AFTRA? The SAG Union, Screen Actors Guild, and the Writers Guild, their strike continues, which is just sad. I mean, they're the ones that create our content that we love so much. But in true internet bullied into submission fashion, there's now photos of Stephen Amell, who you might know as Oliver Queen from the Arrow series, joined the picket lines.
Yeah.
But this was after he publicly spoke out. Was it on Howard Stern?
No idea.
Or
I just saw the clip.
something like that. I think it was on Howard Stern. He was talking about how striking and picketing and all that stuff is useless, is a waste of time, and doesn't help. And then he got put on blast. And then he went and joined the strike line, the picket line, and he's trying to save face. Which is kind of frustrating because it almost like, after him being so public about that, I feel like that might hurt the actual supporters and strikers that have been there from the beginning, because it was
I think that Stephen Amell is a grain of sand in the ocean when it comes to his impact on the film world. So
yeah, I don't disagree, but it just seems like
who gives a shit?
Because of him speaking out against it was so public, that him now joining the opposite side that he was just bitching about, I feel like might have a negative impact, which is sad. I mean, he's not like, no offense, Stephen Amell, not an A-class actor, but also full offense.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
But like, it just seems like he's doing it for publicity and not for the right reasons, which can then take away from the actual working people that are doing it for the right reasons. And it's just frustrating.
Yep.
But if you're not like Stephen Amell and you actually care about this, there will be a link in our show notes for places, not places, but to donate to the fund that is helping keep all of the SAG actors, the writers, and stuff like that, their fund to help keep their bills paid, so that they can get what they deserve, which is working wages And
You get what you...
fuck
I'm just kidding.
AI. Um,
Sorry. I went Joker. I was just joking, though.
I know you were, because that's like what Joker does. You froze for a second, but
Uh-oh. 2 in a row? That's not good.
yeah.
Quit moving.
And then
I
but
just got a thing on my screen that said your internet connection is not great, Cotton. That's what it said.
but does it like pumpkins? Talk about the not
Oh, yeah.
nerdy but shitty thing that's happening
In Maui,
yeah.
Hawaii, wildfires. I think that as of this morning, the death toll was up to like 89, I think. And yeah, just brutal. I mean, if you've seen pictures of it, looks like a freaking apocalyptic movie. People like had to abandon their cars in the middle of the fucking road, and like there's like half burned cars all over the place. Just it's
And what's
brutal.
crazy is when you think of wildfires, you think of like dense, like woods and wilderness, and the people that are kind of like scattered in between. This is like coastlines that have
Yeah.
burned to the ground.
Yeah, there's like people like in the water, like trying to get away from the fire and stuff. It was
Yeah, I was
just
seeing
nasty stuff.
on the news a local there like waded out into the water with his family and neighbors and stuff like that, and just like hung out in the water for hours before they could come back to shore, just to not die, because they were on like the back end of the fire.
Yeah.
Like there was nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we will also be including a link in the show notes if you want to donate to that as well.
I'll be donating to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Crazy. So sad.
On a lighter note,
It's like, shit. We should have ended with that before.
yeah, we should have.
Because then you're like, in other news,
Yeah.
TV. We like it, and here's a show we're watching. You
Yeah,
know?
but like to transition kind of like into what the show is actually about. These are just things that are happening in our world that you should be aware of and helping if you can. But back to like stuff that we've been watching, you know, to get back to the all things nerd aspect of this podcast. The penultimate episode of season 3 for Warrior.
Ooh.
Fucking rad.
Ooh.
I mean,
Little less,
we've been
like-
praising the show, but
Yeah. Little less action from our main star, but got a pretty cool scene. It's hard. It's really hard because, and even on this podcast, I've been like, I don't like that character. He's a racist piece of shit.
yeah.
But Leary,
Yeah, Dylan O'Leary.
yeah, had a pretty badass episode. That was kind of
Yeah.
cool. It's like, oh damn.
And it's nothing against the actor
No, yeah, he plays a racist really well.
playing the role fantastically. But his character's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
It's fun. I mean, if you're not watching it, go watch it. We've already said this. We won't really give spoilers about this because we don't. This isn't one of the shows that we've been like breaking down per episode, but we just like to mention it.
it's
Spread the good word.
yeah. The gospel, if you will,
Yes.
of Warrior.
Fuck yeah.
We're in the 3rd book. And then also like What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu. I mean, we're not fully through the season yet. There's a couple of episodes left. I think this was episode 7.
This was only episode 6. I think. is
Oh,
the one that
episode
just came
6,
out.
yeah. But man, it's so good. I love this show.
Yeah.
I was slow to start the new season because they're shorter episodes, so I wanted to be able to watch more than 23 minutes at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm caught up, and it's so good. Same with my adventures with Superman. But
This is my jam.
yeah, but talk about like why this episode was awesome. Like this particular episode.
Oh, it had some multiverse. Everyone's doing the multiverse thing right now. And while they didn't go into the multiverse at all, they do give a little bit of a nod to it, and we got to see um, some different old school Supermans versions of animated Supermans, which was really cool. It was like the old school one that I used to watch when I was a little kid, and then there was the like. Uh, I don't know, the series that we all probably watched when we were teenagers, like after school. It was like Batman the animated series, and then Superman would come on like right after that.
Yeah.
So we got both. She's home. But yeah, it so we got a little bit of a multiverse kind of thing going there. There was some cool nods to other heroes because I mean in the past couple episodes we've been introduced to Waller and Deadshot, and now we got Dr. Fate's helmet was in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mention that it's a Legionnaire ring, but it was a ring and it wasn't a lantern ring, so I
Yeah.
assume it's the Legionnaire ring. Um, but you take over for a sec. I gotta let the dog upstairs real
Yeah.
quick, and
Well,
then
I mean, with
I'll be
that,
right
we'll
back.
just talk about
Oh yeah,
the first sponsor, which is Ray's Energy Drinks. You can go ahead.
Yeah.
Fantastic energy drink, 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 crash. And if you're not a huge fan of energy drinks, I mean, there's a lot going on. They've got uh, protein powders, protein packed desserts, supplements, all that sort of stuff. And some of it is plant based. I don't want to say a lot. But they've got some plant based options as well, which is great for people like Jake and I, where we try to avoid animal products. So listen up, learn how to save 15%. We'll be right back with you with some more in depth nerd news and rumors and upcoming things. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with 0 crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful, yet sustained, energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, empowered by their refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
Okay, friends, we are gonna we're gonna talk about some nerd news and upcoming things and just shit that we've heard. Mostly rumors, but maybe some confirmed shit. But something that is confirmed that's really exciting is Hugh Jackman, who we all know and love, that is reprising his role as Wolverine in upcoming Deadpool 3, has also officially signed on for Avengers Secret Wars. I assume to also play Wolverine. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean, realistically, did we ever want to see? I mean, there's like, who would you want to see, right? And we had like done that. Like Taron Egerton came up. I had mentioned bringing back Daphne Keane if you're gonna you know. But at the end of the day, we always wanted Hugh Jackman to stay in that role, right?
Yeah, it's just hard because Wolverine is like ageless, and Hugh Jackman is almost ageless. You know?
So it's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, they de-aged Harrison Ford. You know, for
Ooh.
a good portion of.
This is like something we talked about this like a week or two ago. Is like it's hard to like give praise to that right now, knowing
Yeah,
that that's what they want to do, like with the future of
but
acting
with de-aging, you have to have like a visual artist that can do it.
for now.
Because yeah, but AI, just like it's not there, and it should not be in a place of creative aspect. It should be a tool used to assist.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, and that's not what we meant to talk about at all. But like,
I mean, kinda, it's relevant, and we're talking about nerd news, and that is nerd news. So
yeah, and we've
yeah.
been on a weekly basis, you know, touching on the striking.
The exciting part that we were trying to make a point about is that we get more Hugh Jackman after Deadpool 3. That's awesome, because we love you, Hugh.
Yeah, we love Hugh. Done it.
Huge news.
Huge news or just Hugh news? You know.
Hu- Huge news, but you spell it like his last name, G-E. You spell it Hugh, G-E.
Hugh news.
Yes.
You'll lose. It's still funny.
Anyways, next
No,
weekend.
that's incredible. I'm so excited because even if it is just more Old Man Logan, also,
Hmm? I'll take it.
I'm fine with that because the
I'll
movie
take Hugh
Logan.
Jackman, Wolverine, in any shape or form they give him to us. The only way I want to see not Hugh Jackman Wolverine is if they give us Daphne Keane as X-23 back going forward. It's
I would
good for
prefer Daphne Keene as
Mhm.
X-23, but I agree that I just want X-23
yeah.
as the new iteration because
Mhm. She'd be perfect for it. She's a
20
little
some-
grown up now.
yeah, exactly.
She's got some more acting titles under her belt. Like and she was great in Logan, so I'm all for that.
Yeah,
And it gives us a younger version of Wolverine, and gives us a female lead character, if written well, which hopefully she would be.
I mean, she
you know.
has been, or she was written well for Logan.
Yeah, by James Mangold, not the fucking Marvel universe that's been dropping the ball over and over again lately.
Bring him in, just
Yeah.
even as like a consultant to write for that character.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, Disney is fighting to
Again,
use AI,
I'll
which means
take
that they
Hugh-
can
I'll
bring
take-
in some great writers.
I'll take Hugh Jackman all day, but if you're not, when that's done, give us Daphne Keane,
Yeah.
please and
I
thank
mean,
you.
I still,
Sincerely, your biggest fan.
and this is jumping super far ahead because there is a rumor that, kind of like the John Krasinski as Reed Richards, the fan cast, that it's rumored that we'll get Taron Egerton as a Wolverine variant in Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's already been leaked that. So even though we are getting that comic accurate suit of Hugh Jackman, that's not the Wolverine that's going to be in most of the movie. That's just a variant of
Yeah.
Wolverine. So we won't even get the yellow suit for very long, unfortunately.
Be a battle in the void,
Most
as
likely.
Loki said.
Yeah.
Or as the Loki series showed us, not directly what he said. But
But next weekend,
next weekend is the Blue
maybe.
Beetle.
I'm like, yeah, maybe. Who fucking knows with this
I
gag
mean,
gun?
it's coming out. You can buy tickets for it.
I'm excited to see it, but I'm also basing my not my entire, but a large portion of faith going forward from here on out with DC. If this movie blows,
Yeah,
not gonna
it's
not
gonna.
gonna be real amped up about anything else coming out.
I don't think that we know that James Gunn makes good movies. His plan moving forward makes no fucking sense, and we'll touch on that in a second. Formerly known as Wonder Woman 3. Uh, so we'll touch on that in a second, but he didn't have a lot of creative control over this movie. Like this
Yeah.
movie was pretty much done by the time he signed on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, it was all in post. We don't know, and I don't think James Gunn knows either if this is going to be a part of his DC universe or not. Because
The director made it to be a standalone film, so that if it didn't get covered in that umbrella, that it could just be done like a one and done film. But James Gunn has gone so back and forth with everything he's been saying about all these movies coming out. Because he said The Flash was canon, and then he said The Flash wasn't canon. Then he said Blue Beetle was canon. Then he said everything before
Superman
Superman
Legacy.
is not canon. And then he said he was going to make Wonder Woman 3
With Gal Gadot. Yeah.
and that would be canon. And now they're saying they're not going to do that. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just stop. Stop. If you're going to replace one, replace them all. Because whatever the fuck you're doing right now doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense.
Yeah, and like the first Wonder Woman film was incredible. I loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Hmm. Plus, yeah, Chris Pine. Come
Yeah. I'm Chris Pine.
on. Hey, everybody, I'm Chris Pine.
Exactly.
If you know, you know.
It's just I'm sure that so many of us, especially in our age group, have found ourselves in jobs where you're like, oh sweet, I got this job, and then a weekend you're like, I'm not prepared or ready to do this. But you've already got the job and you've already started, so you kind of have to like fake it till you make it. And when people ask you questions, you're like, absentively, you know, you just
Yeah.
like make up words.
Distraction.
Yeah. Also,
That video is so fucking. Sorry. Anyways,
it's great. I'm excited for this movie.
I want to see it. I'm excited for it. It comes out, at a very special time in my life. Just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
I was like, nothing.
Yeah, it comes out on Jake's birthday,
Well, the day after. My birthday's on the 17th.
which is the Thursday that it comes out, technically.
Well, I guess well, basically, technically, its release date is the 18th, but you can get the late night, which is like 7 o'clock
Midnight
p.m. on
premiere.
Thursday. Yeah.
5 hours before midnight.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep finger quoting until people subscribe to our YouTube.
I am excited to see this movie. I like that kid, Jolo. Did I say that right? It's Jolo, I think.
I think that's how it's pronounced. Yeah.
It's spelled Xolo or Xiolo.
I think it's Xiolo.
Is his dad Elon Musk?
Kind of no. Funny, but for the wrong reasons. That's a very Hispanic way of spelling a traditional name. Kind of like
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Zeidel
sure.
or
I'm pretty sure I
Zeidel.
saw him in an interview, and somebody like officially asked him, and if I remember correctly, he said it's pronounced Sholo,
Yeah.
which makes sense because Soshi Gomez, sorry, fuck. Soshi Gomez, who plays America Chavez. No, America.
Yeah,
Yeah,
America
yeah,
Chavez.
yeah. Her name is spelled XO, but it makes the sh noise. Soshi.
It's X. Oh, I didn't know it was Soshi. I
Because
thought it was
I, it's
Shodel
Soshi. It's
because it's
Soshi Gomez,
Xiotle.
and that's how his name is spelled. XIO. Sholo. Soshi.
Yeah.
I knew a girl. The only reason I even knew that is because there was a girl in the very nice neighborhood I grew up in, Hispanic girl, and her name was Soshi, and it was spelled just like Soshi Gomez's, the XIO. So
Okay.
when we were talking about it, I was like, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Soshi, and that would make sense that his name spelled XIO, LO would be whatever the fuck I said. What did I say it was?
Sholo.
Sholo. Oh, yeah.
You're doing
I'm
great, bud.
strong. I'm trying.
No, but
I'm
I mean,
trying.
like Cobra Kai, like he
Yeah,
was
I
great
like
in
that guy.
Cobra Kai. I think that's the only thing I've seen him in that
Well,
I can
let's
recognize.
reiterate. Nobody is great in Cobra Kai, and that's kind of the point of Cobra Kai.
Well,
Is
that's the
it's,
writing.
it's terrible nonsense, but it's
Just
fun to
like the
watch.
original Karate Kid. It
Yeah,
was not great writing, but it's iconic and it's
mm,
fun and
yeah,
great in its own right.
yeah. But I like this kid, Sholo, and
Yeah.
he's got a nice face. I'd like to see more of him. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully Blue Beetle does well. Hopefully it's good and we can say really nice things about it next week. Or, we'll do the other thing that we do.
Poop in public. And then another thing that's coming out that we are very excited about, but it's not coming out this week. It comes out next week, so we're probably going to talk about it again next episode. Is the Ahsoka series, and it looks so fucking good. And I'm
Ray
just
Stevenson's last role, which is sad, but I mean, I'm
yeah,
excited to see him in his last role.
yeah.
Also, there's at least rumors, or maybe it's confirmed. You probably know more than I would. Star Wars is kind of your um thing, your fetish. But um,
Like feet,
Hayden Chris Hayden Christensen is maybe reprising his role,
he is
but it would be as Anakin, not
in
Vader.
flashbacks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
cool.
oh yeah, because this takes place after Vader's death. So yeah, it's in flashbacks. I think even in the final trailer, there's like a quick flashback where it shows Anakin, but it is clearly like an older Hayden Christensen.
Good for him.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel that
there was so much
the
backlash,
world shit all over him.
but then
I mean I did too. I'm
but
not
then
gonna lie.
everyone's like welcoming him back like with open arms, rightfully so.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, good for him. I'm
yeah,
happy for him.
I am too. And also just to see a live action cast of the people from like the characters from Star Wars Rebels. Like
Mhm.
I can't wait because obviously Lars Mikkelsen is coming back to be the live action. Oh my god! Now I can't think of the character's name.
Thrawn,
Thrawn. Thank you. Yeah,
Thrawn, something.
yeah, of Thrawn, which means that we're gonna get a live action Ezra Bridger. I mean, he's been cast,
Yeah.
and it can't
So,
just be for flashbacks. And then getting a live action Sabine, Hera, all that stuff.
oh, David Tennant is in it.
Ooh, who's he playing?
Uh, I'm gonna fuck this up. It's spelled the Droide, like droid, I think. Droid Hu Yang. I don't know if I
Hmm.
fucking did any of that right, but
I don't know. He might just be a voice actor then for one of the
maybe.
droids.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen is like the second person that pops up when you type
Oh,
in the cast. Ray Stevenson, um, Natasha Bordizzo, as Sabine Wren.
Oh, as
Obviously Rosario
Sabine.
Dawson as
And
Ahsoka.
then I can't think of.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead?
Yeah, she's playing Hera. That's
The green chick?
yeah, and that is Ewan McGregor's wife.
That I did know that. That's weird.
Yeah,
Lars Mikkelsen, yeah. Grand Admiral
Thrawn. Yeah,
Thrawn. Yeah.
and
Cool.
and
Yeah, I'm very
I
excited for
mean
this.
Lars Mikkelsen voiced Thrawn in the animated series, so it's
So,
cool that they're bringing him back so that it's the same voice, and
yeah.
he can play a fucking creepy character live action.
You're obviously a bigger Star Wars nerd than I am. Um, so Ezra Bridger, is that the guy in the cartoon that sacrifices himself so that they could get away in the ship?
No, that's Kanan, which was voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. But
Bummer.
that's who trained Ezra Bridger throughout that series.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So Ezra Bridger was like the apprentice throughout Rebels, and then
Okay.
at the very last episode sacrifices himself.
Gotcha. He like yeets
Him and
Ahsoka into the ship and then makes the ship take off like as the planet's like exploding.
nope, that
He's
one that's
exploding.
Kanan.
That's what I meant. Like that's who that was.
Yeah.
It wasn't this guy that I thought was him.
Ezra Bridger is the one that
Was his
basically
apprentice.
traps Thrawn on a ship and then yeets them into deep space.
Also, he's gonna die too.
Which is why Thrawn. It was kind of like the workaround as to why Thrawn was not involved in like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Because this takes place a little bit before Rogue One.
Nice. Yeah, he's got a. I mean this in the nicest way possible. He's got a very creepy face.
Lars Mikkelsen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Also, if no one could figure this out, that's Mads Mikkelsen's brother.
I would not have figured that out. But now that you say it, I can fucking see it.
I mean, it's not a very common last name either, so.
Wow. Weird. Now it's weird. Okay.
But that's also kind of cool because Mads Mikkelsen was also in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Just a family affair.
Moving on. Really cool news for upcoming stuff. As you guys all know, or as you friends all know, we are very excited about Invincible. Season 2 drops in November, but they are already done with the voice acting for Season 3. And they have said we will not have to wait as long for Season 3 as we did for Season 2.
Good, because we waited like 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was a long time. It was a bummer.
Yeah.
But I'm so stoked.
Yeah. And just a quick update, because we started talking about it forever ago, and we said that we'd keep you updated about Jonathan Majors. His first court date in New York City happened just this past week, maybe a week and a half ago. The accuser, his ex-girlfriend, didn't show up to court and had actually fled the country. No longer in the U.S.
It's a good sign.
It kind of means that she knows that she doesn't have a case, so let's leave and maybe go someplace that she can't be extradited for false accusations.
Mm-hmm.
On the surface level, if it still turns out that he's a piece of shit, we will quickly turn on him. But as of right now, the
I don't think he is.
appearance looks like he's not. Yeah.
Marvel's been a lot better about this than DC with piece of shit characters. And if
Amber fucking Heard.
Amber Heard, Ezra Miller,
Yeah, they all suck.
this fucking corn sweat dude that stole Henry Cavill's job.
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
Or are you just salty that he got Superman's role?
Just being salty. He looks whatever. We won't get into that. But Um, I think because with Loki season 2, Jonathan Majors is
A
playing
big part of
Kang,
it. Yeah.
and if he was as whatever, or if he was like a piece of shit and they knew about it, they were already talking about doing reshoots and changing
And
him
yeah,
for
and
season 2 of
recasting.
Loki,
Yeah.
and they didn't.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a good sign. And
I think
an
that
even
is a
better
good sign
sign
too.
is that she fled the country. So I'm assuming he did not. He's a big fucking guy. If he if he did what he did again, piece of shit, fuck you. I'd never want to see you again. But if he did what she's accusing him of, you're not just leaving with a couple boo-boos.
And then
You know
going
what I
to the
mean?
club
And
afterwards.
then going to the club and like hanging out with your friends. Yeah, you're just
And
not.
I mean, even if you're trying to like portray that everything is normal and it's fine and whatever, which I know a lot of, well, I don't personally know a lot, but I know some people who have been in that situation where you just want to try and get on with your life and be as normal as possible,
Mm,
but then you would still show up to the court date
yeah,
to get the justice that you're, if it was true, that you deserve.
yeah. I was also searching for the right word and then I gave
Yeah.
up because you found it. So,
But it just, all of the public facts
mm,
lean towards false accusations,
hmm
which is a bummer because he'll he's already lost out on a lot.
yeah, he already got fired from multiple roles that
Yeah, and dropped
he
by
was,
his management company and
mm,
his agent, and
which that can be repaired. At least like the like agent and management company could be like, hey,
or
dude,
a
like we're
different
sorry. Yeah,
manager and agent
but like
company can come in
lose
and
losing the roles that he lost, I assume they already recast and signed contracts with a new actor. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like you're probably not getting that back. Same thing happened to Johnny Depp. He lost a shit ton of roles, and like even though he cleared his name, he never got those roles back.
yeah,
So you know what I mean? Like it's a bummer.
it is.
Again, just to stay on top of this, if he did it, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, we.
But it's leaning towards probably not.
It sounds like we're waffling, but we're really just trying to like take it from an objective perspective of
Mhm.
this is this is what we know. And based on what we know, like he got screwed. If it comes out that he was a piece of shit, like we will change our tune so fucking fast
Yeah.
cuz it's just we don't support that. That's not
No.
okay. Ugh.
Sorry.
That's a very somber note. Do you want to talk about the last
Yes.
topic on this or do you
I
want to
mean,
move on?
just it's a really quick thing.
Yeah.
We talked about it for the first two seasons. We were both really hyped about it, and I think we both went into it. Well, Superman and Lois with Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah.
I think we were both skeptical going into it. For me, because I'm a huge Superman fan, and like Smallville was like the best TV adaptation of Superman in my personal opinion. I was really, really skeptical going into Superman and Lois. Um, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And season 3 is now streaming on Max. So if you
Yeah.
watched it and you liked it,
All
that's
episodes,
where you
right?
can that's where you can watch it. If you didn't watch it and don't know if you like it, you will like it, and you should watch it. It's on HBO Max. Or
Yeah.
shit, just Max.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's a good boy.
So go check that out. I'm trying to look up this David Tennant character to see what is going on here for you and I's personal knowledge, not
Okay,
for
cool.
the.
While you search that, I'm just going to tell them about our second sponsor, if
Go
that's
for
cool
it.
with you.
Cool with me.
Which is Crybaby Craig's hot sauce. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes on damn near everything. We love it. We promote the shit out of it. Listen Up will tell you more about it. We'll be right back with you to talk about the last voyage of the Demeter. Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. Okay, friends, now we're going to talk about, I don't know why I sighed about it because I loved the movie. It's just that normally I'm not a huge horror monster kind of fan. But we're going to talk about the last voyage of the Demeter.
Which is weird because you are a horror and a monster.
You're right. You're not wrong about either of those things. No, normally when it comes to vampires and stuff like that, Underworld, things like that.
Those are action movies. Those aren't horror movies.
I know. So I was surprised at how much I loved this movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, because it is still in theaters. It came out this past weekend, and we're so proud of it for coming out.
If you haven't seen it, this is your moment.
Yeah. Try to make a joke and it was breezed over. That's fine. But, yeah. That's enough time. Now we're going to get into some spoilers.
What joke did you try to make?
I said it came out this weekend and we're so proud of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in poor taste.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in a negative way. I was saying that we're proud.
I'm just kidding.
Man.
Just kidding.
Man. But that's clearly enough time. So if you haven't seen it, tune back in.
Why don't you start? Talk about some good things you really like about this movie. I'll do the same. And then I actually am not going to shit on this movie at all. There were a couple things I disliked, but I'm not going to drag the movie for it. But I do have a couple negative things to say.
Yeah. And we can mention those, but I mean, I thought because it's been a very heavy trend in movies and TV shows that if things take place at night, that it's very dark. I think that this did it well because a lot of the times it was during storms out at sea. So, it was dark, dimly lit. They played with lighting really well, but then lightning would happen and you'd see fucking everything for a flash. But that built the suspense. So something that I would normally see as annoying, I thought fit this really well. Also,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, we both kind of talked about it, but it's something that that you have a stronger opinion on about seeing the monster
creature thing.
Early
That's it. That's literally what I was just about to say.
You take it then.
This is something that I have expressed to my girlfriend, to you, my other girlfriend.
Hey.
Just that there's something really cool about horror movies that I think has been somewhat lost a little bit, or changed up quite a bit or adapted with the times. But one of the coolest things about horror movies is that you don't see what the creature looks like right away, because once you see it, it loses its scariness a little bit. Mostly because I grew up on 80s, early 90s horror movies that graphics were not great. So once you actually saw it, you're like, this is kind of silly. But I mean, think of this is my favorite one to use as a reference is Jaws. The Jaws movies, which is shark movies if you haven't seen them, it's always scarier to me when you just see the fin sticking out of the water, coming at the person. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than like a full-on shark. You know what? Like I just always thought that was way creepier, and that's how that got in my head. I thought this movie did a really, really good job of keeping the creature. I mean, it's Dracula, keeping Dracula really, really creepy, even after showing him really early on in the movie. Because they show him probably. I mean,
Within
I
the
think it was
first
like
like 30 or 40 minutes, and it's
I
a
looked at
2 hour
my
movie.
watch. I was like, already? Like thinking it was gonna be really dumb, and they did a really good job of keeping the suspense, keeping him really, really creepy looking. Because there were parts like I even told you because you saw it after I did, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I'm on my way to the movie, and how was it? And I was like, honestly, like it's kind of creepy. Like, and it was. They did a really good job of keeping that creepiness even after showing like his full-on physique, if you will.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's not something that I see very often, so I was really impressed with it.
And when we were talking off camera, there was kind of a couple of reasons for it. Yours mentioned like when he like actually speaks and like his facial expressions and stuff like that. So get into that, and then I'll touch on
Well,
mine.
they just show, so they kind of played this movie off as like a creature film, but we know that Dracula is like a sophisticated, like humanoid kind of whatever
Yeah.
creature. Uh, and so they played it off more of like the creature aspect of him, but there were like little tiny cues in the movie that I thought were really interesting and made the character slash creature way more creepy. He didn't talk very much, but when he did, he was like mocking people. Like the
Mm-hmm.
guy climbing up the mast is like, "Please don't," and Dracula goes, "Please don't," and then proceeds to kill the guy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so he can talk, he is intelligent, and there's also some like creepy smiles and smirks we get from him
The
too. I
smiles and
thought that was really
smirks
cool.
were
Yeah,
terrifying.
it was like he was playing with them.
And oh, I should have looked up the actor's name. That played Clemens.
Oh,
The
the guy from I almost said Lord of the Rings. Um, fucking Game of Thrones. Holy fuck.
no that uh
Oh,
that
Clemens, the
Clemens.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Yeah, I'm looking up the movie
But
right now.
when he's like, I don't fear you, and he's like, you will.
Yeah.
Like, that was fucking terrifying. Corey Hawkins.
Wow,
It,
you would not, and I'm not making fun in any way. You would, the guy's name is Javier Botet, I think you would say it that way, that played Dracula. I mean, I obviously it was a CGI character, but you would not guess that this dude played that creature. That is
no,
wild.
not at all. Holy shit.
Did you just look it up?
Yeah. Well,
That
I
is
have it paid. I
insane.
have the cast pulled up too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. I
That
mean,
was cool. The David, oh God, Dasmalchian, Dasmalchian. How the fuck do you
uh,
say that dude's last name?
I think Das Malchin.
I mean, you would know him from Ant-Man, and also Polka Dot Man from James Gunn's
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. But yeah, he's
And
in
so
there.
much more.
He did really good. He was almost unrecognized. I did recognize him, but he was almost unrecognizable.
He's also in the Dark Knight. He's like the thug that they.
That Two-Face
Yeah,
grabs. Yeah. That's
and
when Batman catches the when Harvey Dent flips the coin for the first time, and
yeah,
Batman catches it, and he's like, "You'd leave a man's life to chance."
he's like, I make my own chance,
Not
and it's
exactly.
the two sided. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah. This.
the
Yeah.
cast
You. Sorry, I
was
totally steamrolled for a second. You talk
incredible
about your the things that the creepiness.
for the kind of along the same lines of like you see the monster, the creature early on, and it kind of like loses the spectacle.
Mm.
But what this movie did so well was Dracula's being transported from
Romania.
Romania to London, and has to feed. But he's gone a fair amount of time without feeding because he's being transported, whatever.
Well, he had food, but they took it from him.
Well, yeah, but like the first time that you see him, he's like, kind of like crawling around, weak,
Yeah.
not full bodied.
That's because
And
he was
use-
supposed to be feeding on that girl, but they took her.
Yeah.
And that was supposed to be his like rationing, as they say in the movie, was her. So he
Yeah.
would like not fully eat her. He was like just eating what he
Siphoning
needed.
enough.
Yeah.
But they show the first time that you see Dracula, like he's kind of like crawling around, and the energy that he uses to like lunge at quick speeds and with excessive force, like some police officers do.
Dude, I almost made that joke. That's
Thank you
fucking
for
funny.
letting me do it. 'Cause I'm an ally, god damn it. Is like he'll lunge and then he like is slow moving after that because he's like feeding.
Yeah.
And then as he gains his strength, he moves a little bit faster, and then he is strong enough to like have his wings and fly.
That's what. So I was gonna say that's kind of maybe why they were able to keep that creepiness a little bit, is because every time you saw him, he was evolving. He was changed a little
Exactly.
bit from
He was
the first time you saw him.
He was
yeah.
like growing in strength.
It's an underrated movie. Rotten Tomatoes gave it like a 30-something%.
Yeah, what do
And I was
critics
like-
know? They're like, oh,
and I was,
another
like,
vampire
bummed out.
movie?
I was like,
Meh.
I was like, man, I had high hopes for this movie. And then I saw the audience score was like 78 or 80 or something like that. And I was like, okay, maybe it's good.
This
I
movie
left
was
very
fucking
happy.
awesome.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that upset me, and I knew it was going to happen because clearly everyone dies on the Demeter. Spoiler alert. Whoa. Everyone, almost. Yeah. Everyone dies. Let's leave that spoiler. No, we're going to talk about that too. But the thing that made me that bummed me out the most was that the first kill was the dog. Like, come on, man. You're gonna kill the fucking Labrador
I knew that
right away.
dog was.
Well,
I knew that dog.
I knew
was
that the
gonna-
dog wasn't gonna live, but like
mean-
I didn't expect that to be the first kill.
It was a
'Cause they-
black dog. It was.
At least Hollywood's consistent, okay?
That's not funny, Chad. Why would you make that joke?
I didn't. You did. Fuck you.
It is funny, and but yes, it was the first thing to die, and I knew right away. As soon as the dog was on screen, I looked over at Nicole and went, and she was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, that thing's dead."
Oh, so dead.
Like,
Like
that
DED
dog's-
dead. Like
Yeah,
OMG
like-
dead.
OMG dead. Yeah, I think I had very little negative to say about this movie. I wanted the only like real annoyance for me is a lot of people. There was a lot of people that died in the movie.
Mhm.
You only really get like 2 gruesome murders. But I wanted every death
There
to be
were
just
other
like
gruesome parts
brutal.
though, because like
They were like minuscule, and
but
like
the first one that they like tied to the mast that goes up in flames, like
That-
when he's
that
still
wasn't-
possessed and is ramming his face through the
wasn't
door,
gory. That
still-
was not gory.
it was still
Bursting into
brutal.
flames. It was cool, and yeah,
No,
it was
but,
brutal.
But
But it
before
wasn't
they
gory.
tied him up, when he's like ramming his face through the door, and you see his like nose shatter and his
Yeah.
face starts.
That was one
split
of the
apart.
ones that I said was cool. Was that one, and then the other
Oh.
guy that he killed on the deck of the boat, and he like rips his like throat out.
Oh, and
Those were
snaps
the
his
2
neck.
like
yeah.
those were like the 2 really bloody ones. But there was like the guy up in the like mast or whatever,
Yeah, the
and they
crow's
like.
nest. Yeah.
Dracula's chasing him. That's the guy that he mocks at one point, and he's like, "Please don't," or whatever.
Yeah,
But
that's
they don't actually.
David
They don't actually
Mastelton.
really show. They just like, "Oh, he's dead." It was kind of like old school slasher films for
But
a lot of the other
then,
kills where like you would see like blood like splatter, but there
oh,
wasn't
the
an
guy that
actual
was
kill scene for it.
tied to the rope, is that the one that
Mhm.
you're?
Where they like lowered him down from the mast and he was like bleeding out from the
Oh, not that one.
yeah
Yeah.
yeah.
But then
So,
in their final stand, there was one dude that was like tied to a rope
oh,
for,
and he got like
and he got yeeted off the crow's
yeah
nest. And as he's flying, you see Dracula swing by. You don't
still
see how gory it is, but
yeah
blood sprays everywhere.
yeah.
But also
I
there was
wanted
another one where Dracula like smashes the dude's face
yeah
into the ground.
into the ground over and over again. Yeah, that was one of the gruesome ones. I don't
But
think the one where he gets torn in half. I didn't really count that as like gruesome. That was
no,
like
because it
PG
was
13.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like PG-13 bloody. You know what I mean? I wanted those two really gory kills that were in the movie. I wanted every kill to be like that,
Yeah.
and we didn't get that. That's the only thing. If you're gonna make a rated R movie, fucking push the limits a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't teeter on
Because
the
there wasn't it
PG-13
wasn't a lot of like language that would have been the reason for the R
yeah,
rating. It's just
yeah.
like dripping blood and like bloody corpses.
I want that shit. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Give me again. This movie was awesome, and the gruesome kill scenes that we did get were really cool. The even the two bursting into flame like scenes were really cool and
Oh,
well,
and
they weren't very gory, but they were very cool. Um,
well, there
but
was
I want
technically three, but one of them was like self-imposed.
yeah. Oh, the chick.
Yeah. At the end, her
Hmm.
eyes start to gloss over, and she's like, "I knew this was coming." She swims away, climbs on a piece of wood, and just watches the sunset, a la the
Right.
first Blade movie and
Right.
the second Blade movie.
She watched the sunrise,
What did I say?
sunset.
Oh, my bad.
It's like
My bad.
very cool fucking movie.
And kind of left on a hanger.
And there's like I got to talk about the kid because I have to.
Oh, yeah.
There's a like whatever. He's a cute kid. Whatever.
It's like
Long
12,
hair.
10.
Yeah, something like that. He's a kid. Um, and there's a part where like Dracula's going after him, and everyone's trying to get. And this is also like one of the first times that like the entire crew sees Dracula, so they know now. Because at first they're like, "What? Something's killing these people," and the main guy Clemens is like, "There's a scientific explanation for everything." Actually, you know, and
I think I saw something, but like science can't explain it, so I don't believe it.
yeah. So this is the first time everybody actually sees Dracula. He's locked in a room with the kid, and you're like, "There's no way they're gonna kill this kid." And
Because
I
they
like
can't
leaned over,
reach the lock. It's locked from
yeah.
the inside. They're on the
I like
outside.
lean over to Nicole, and I'm just like, "They better kill this fucking kid." And sure as shit, Dracula lifted him up, took a giant bite right out of him. It was dope. And then they show the kid like laying in a hospital bed, and I was like, God damn it, he's alive. And then,
But it's because he tried to turn him.
yeah. And then the kid bursts into flames later on in the movie, and it was cool. Because they don't kill enough kids in movies, in my opinion, and they should.
You're gonna be a great dad.
I'm gonna be a father.
But I know what you mean by that. Is
It's just
like
always like there's
like the
always
monster has
something.
like a moment of weakness when there's a kid, and then someone
Yeah.
busts in and the monster runs away, and the
Exactly.
kid is safe. Even
it's
though
like,
in
come
real
on.
life that would never happen because they had ample opportunity to show that they're a monster.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
It's not
Which
that
they
I
did.
want to see kids die. Like that's
I did.
fucking terrible.
Why?
But-
It's a movie. It's not
but
real.
Well,
I want it to look realistic,
in that
but I don't.
instance, like it would be more unrealistic for him to not attack the child.
Mm.
Is what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah, it was
if
awesome.
Dracula was just like staring at the kid and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get you,"
That
and
was
then
one of the-
takes way too long to get there, and then it's like, "Oh shit, I gotta run. You're safe, Bucko."
That was one of the creepier parts of the movie too, because that in that moment was the first time that you see Dracula standing upright.
Yeah.
And when he is, and they're looking through the hole in the door that they hit with like an axe to try to like get in there, right before he kills that kid, he looks at them and smiles.
That was one of the when Dracula smiles in this is so creepy. And even towards the end of the movie, when they're back in London and they only Clemens survives, let's be honest.
Yeah.
And he hears the knocking, which was kind of like a big part of the whole like, oh, we're on a ship.
Explain that for a sec because
So
people won't understand.
on a wooden ship where it's all wood, the
Thanks, Jeff.
yeah, you're welcome. The ship hands, they would knock on the wood because it would echo throughout the ship because of the way that it's built. You could do it if you needed help, if there's a shift change, whatever.
It was like a communication tactic,
Yeah.
so that you wouldn't have to like, if you're on the back of the ship, you wouldn't have to run all the way to the front of
Because
the
it's
ship
a
to
period
talk to
piece,
somebody.
you don't have the technology just to be like walkie-talkie,
Yeah.
throw out a niner. You're welcome.
That's funny.
That's a Tommy Boy reference. But Clemens survives. And he's now in a pub in London and is like, I'm going to find this monster. I'm going to fucking kill him. And he's sitting in this pub. It's overcrowded and he hears a knocking. And it turns out he looks kind of over his shoulder. And we see Dracula now like fully fed, presenting more humanoid than normal, dressed in human clothes instead of just like this scaly monster with his cane, knocking and smirking, and it's fucking terrifying. So they kind of like leave this open that there could be a sequel,
Mhm.
but the whole part of the Demeter is it comes from the notes from the original Dracula novel. So if they're going to move forward with it, it might be a reboot or a retelling of the original Dracula from the novel, which would be fucking awesome.
I gotta give this dude a shout out real quick. So the actor who plays Dracula in this movie suffers from Marfan syndrome. Correct me if I said that wrong, but because of this, his joints are super crazy. He's super skinny, and he has made an entire career out of this. I didn't know this till just now. He has played creatures in a shit ton of movies, including uh, infected people in the Wreck franchise. I don't know if the Record franchise where it's like first action
I
shot.
haven't seen any of those, but
He also played Mama in the title movie Mama. He plays the creature in that. He plays Slender Man in the Slender Man movie. Um,
oh shit.
yeah, he's
I haven't
also
seen it
in
because I hate scary movies.
The Conjuring 2. He's got a role in It. Um, I
He
mean,
worked on The Mummy, the 2017 reboot.
yeah, that's crazy. Well, good for you, dude. Anyways, just wanted to point that out. I was like looking at it, and I was like, what else has this guy been in? Because he's got a very unique look to him, and I feel like I would have seen him if he's in something else. And yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, some of the set photos from what he's been in is terrifying. He's also
I thought Mama
super
was creepy.
freaking tall. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. Anyways, the last voyage of the Demeter is a must watch in my opinion. It definitely exceeded my expectations. It was one of the cooler um adaptations of Dracula that I've seen. I really, really liked it, and I really, really hope that we get more. I don't think we will because think it kind of flopped, but
They left it open ended,
no.
um, but I would love to see more. And you all know, and especially Jake knows, I'm not a fan of like horror, creepy
No,
things.
no.
This was incredible. This was, yeah, amazing.
Kudos. Kudos. I think that right now horror movies are like so I want to say what's the word I'm looking for? They're so geared towards like Gen Z.
They're
You know what I mean?
they're
And they're not
either
they
over
lost
the
that
they're either over the top ridiculous
yeah.
or over the top I want to scare you until you shit your pants.
But when they do that it's not that scary. And I I miss this. This is the kind of like horror movies that I grew up on where it like this kind of shit scares the shit out of me. I thought this movie was
Creature films,
there were parts
monster
that
flicks. Yeah.
when they showed his face and he was like smiling at someone, I was like, ooh, like
Yeah.
that was creepy. I don't want like a jump scare. Jump scares are fun, but like that's what
There was a
horror
couple in
movies,
this, but it
yeah.
was
I just mean that's what horror movies have kind of become now. It's not just like scary in itself. It's just like, ah, gotcha. Okay, on to
yeah.
the next one. You know what I mean?
This
I
had such an
this was yeah.
not overwhelming and not overbearing, but a very consistent like demeanor,
Mm,
not Demeter, of sorry, that
you're an
was a
idiot.
dumb joke, of unease
Mm,
throughout.
yeah,
But it wasn't scary for the sake of getting fright. It
yeah.
was just
Creepy.
it
It
was
was a good
so
creepy
well
movie.
done.
Yeah.
I love this movie, and I don't like scary movies. I'm not a huge fan of monster flicks. This was incredible. I loved it.
Same Z's.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and close out this episode.
But before we close out this episode, we are going to talk about our honorable mentions. Chadley, what do you got?
Nothing too spectacular, I guess. I rewatched Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Fucking love that movie. It is so good. And then also, I'm now on season 2 of Castlevania.
Oh, fuck me.
Or I guess technically season 3, but season 1 was only like 3 episodes, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
Okay.
Well,
So-
I mean,
I thought you had more. Sorry.
it's just like continuing
Yeah.
Castlevania and then
I gotcha.
watched Across the Spider-Verse.
Well, we also rewatched Across the Spider-Verse, and I had told you. So my girlfriend is very attentive in these movies because the first time we watched it, and we talked about this, uh, after the first time we watched it in the theaters, that she's the one who noticed that Miguel O'Hara's character becomes darker, the colors become darker, and there's like sharper, like, uh,
Like
and
lines.
yeah, lines on his character as he becomes more and more agitated and becoming kind of maybe slightly a villain. Which I don't think he will be in the end of everything, but anyways, we watched it again on Friday, and she pointed something else out to me, and I was like, God damn it. Because she's just
Why are
really good
you
at it.
better than me?
Yeah. When Miles is at the towards the end of the movie, when Miles finds himself in the wrong universe, before even Miles realizes that he's in the wrong universe, he's talking to his mom, and his mom in this universe has green eyes, which in his actual universe she has brown eyes, which was kind of like a cool like thing to the audience. Like if you catch it, you know before even Miles knows that he's
Yeah.
in the wrong universe. And she pointed that out to me, and I was like, "Fuck,
God
that's a
damn it.
good observation." But damn it.
How dare
Um,
you
yeah,
out nerd me?
yeah. Um, Other than that, Nicole and I have been watching the original Mummy movies with not the original, but the Brendan Fraser ones. Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz. But we only watched the first two. I refused to watch the third one because it was so bad. And it didn't have the same characters in it and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Stupid. But the first two, I loved the first two. The only thing terribly, terribly wrong with the second one is The Rock. And I can call him The Rock because he was not going by Dwayne Johnson back then. This was like his first like role outside of pretending to be a wrestler. Um and
This is wrestling.
the CGI, I mean for that time I get,
Even
it was
for
great.
that time, him transforming into the Scorpion was not good.
Yeah.
The first
But
the first one had better CGI than the second one did.
yeah. Yes. Agreed. Yes. The first movie, like I think did I already talk about this last week? I feel like I did. I remember watching the first one in theaters with my mom, and at that time being like, this is the most realistic freaking thing I've ever seen. Like that is
I
so
think that's something that
crazy.
we just talked about off camera,
Was
like
it?
on
Okay.
one of the days.
Yeah.
We talk like every day, but
So then,
like,
so then the second movie comes out, and they give you this big crazy monster of Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, aka Scorpion King,
Winnie the Bish.
and he's just like,
It's
I
not good.
mean, a giant cartoon. It
I'm pretty
was
sure
really
that the
bad.
graphics for the PS2
Were the
companion
inspiration for
game,
that?
no, that the companion game had better graphics than the movie
Yeah,
itself.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed the movie.
Oh,
The
they're
first two were
still
a lot of fun.
so good. And it's like
Uh,
that campy CGI that like the nostalgic factor of like, oh yeah, I love this.
yeah, it
But
was
when
fun.
you
Yeah,
look at it like,
15 years later.
well, just as someone who has experienced good CGI, you're like, this is bad.
Yeah. But I grew up on like Atari and the original Nintendo. Like,
Yeah,
look where we're at now. It's crazy. So back then, that was like the
great.
craziest shit. Yeah. But yeah, yes, rewatching it now, I'm like, oh man, how did I ever think that was realistic? This comes from somebody who would make Laura Croft on the original PlayStation back up to a wall so I could stare at her cone boobs. I mean, I was a kid, but
Yeah, like 6 months ago.
I
But
don't
no,
have a
I
regular PlayStation anymore.
no, I mean I totally agree and understand. It's like even back then, like they pushed what CGI could do, and because of that, it was like better than video games. And I
Yeah.
remember, you know, playing video games in the late '90s, mid '90s, early 2000s, and being like, "Wow, these graphics are so realistic." I remember getting a PS2 and being like, "Wow, these graphics are so much better than the first PlayStation. This is like real life." And looking back at it, it's like, "No, you're wrong. Stop."
Yeah. Wolf.
Well, for our listeners that have stuck around this long because they haven't had to pause and come back for because they keep up on releases like we do. If you like what we're doing and you want to support us, what's the best way to do that, Jake?
Just give us your money.
Yeah, it's so simple. so simple.
Simple Jack.
My eyes are raining. No,
Here we go full. No, I'm just kidding. Oh,
yeah, don't finish that, please. As we're trying to ask people, if you want to support us, the best way to do that is to go to buymeacoffee.com/allthingsnerd and give on a monthly basis. There's different tiers that you can give on based on what you feel comfortable with. Based on the tier, you can get behind the scenes, member exclusive merch, so much, even group chats with Jake and myself and other people giving at that level. It's just a great way to support the show. If you don't want to do that, I mean, lame, but you can give us your money in other ways. You can just go to allthingsnerdpodcast.com, pick up some merch, so you still get cool something out of it. We have some cool merch. We haven't updated it in a hot minute.
We're going to get better merch. I got one of my very good friends. I mean, to this day, he's walking around in a pair of fresh black and red Chuck Taylors, custom made.
There's also another
All Things Nerd podcast.
One of our mutual friends that's walking around in probably not as fresh, but All Things Nerd podcast boxers. Jakers.
Was that Jaker?
Yeah.
I thought he said he wanted to buy the boxers.
No, he bought them.
He bought them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hot.
Yeah. So hot. So hot right now.
The Hansel is so hot right now.
But if, giving on... if giving on a monetary level is not in the cards, we get it. We're millennials. We've all grown up in those situations to where that's just not a thing that you can always do. But liking, sharing, and subscribing to this show is honestly, as much as we would love your money, it's probably the best way to support us because it just gets us out there in front of more people. So like, share, subscribe. That's great. We would love that. And, just talk about it. Talk to us also.
Yeah.
We're not great at social media, but we're trying.
Ask us questions. I mean, if you have, even if there's like, this is something that like we both have talked about that we really want to do is, if like you have questions about or like watched like the Avengers movies, and you're like, something doesn't add up here. How does this work with this? Like, shoot us a message. Like, chances are, I'll be able to answer that for you. I'm just kidding.
Might too.
That was a joke.
Maybe.
That was a joke. No,
joke. I know.
Chances are, between the two of us, we're pretty knowledgeable on the nerdy shit. That's why we do what we do.
And also, we're launching another podcast, so there's more people that span a broader realm of nerd stuff.
Yeah.
We're trying. We're trying because we love this. We don't make money on this. Also, we joke about, give us your money. We don't make money.
Even if you give us your money, we don't make money.
It goes back into the show. It will go to the other people that help make this show happen before we see a dime.
Yeah. There are people that we don't pay that we should be paying. So if we get money, that money goes to them.
They qualify as so much more than an unpaid intern, but they're just an unpaid, I don't know, executive producer. We love you, Alan. But yes, we love doing this. So interact with us, share it, give us your money if you want. We'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Give it back.
We also give it back. I give it back. Sometimes. He doesn't pay.
Oh, he pays.
Just kidding.
Has been the opposite. Think.
Watch us on YouTube.